Hello and welcome everyone to Game Day Squad New South Wales vs Queensland live show for Game 2. I'm your host JT and I'm lucky to be joined by the two of the most elite coaches of GDS we have on board. Unfortunately for me, they're both Queensland fans, but yeah, I'll let that one slide today. But tonight we have Game 2 and we have $5,000 up for grabs for prizes throughout this competition. And it is free to play, free to join. So if you don't already have the app, hop on now, download, and we are here to help you make those selections for tonight. So without any further ado, I'm joined by Moi and Penrith tonight, also known as Harry. He is a runner-up from last season. If you haven't already met him, I thought I'd just get that little jab in there now. Moi did beat him to the punch last year. But Penrith did take out game 1 of this year's New South Wales vs Queensland competition. So, welcome, boys.
G'day, JT. Hey, Penrith.
Thanks for having us, JT. Moi, good to see a real person.
Not a computer program.
Not a computer program.
That was brilliant. G'day, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
So, other than you, Penrith, how did everyone fare after game 1? How did you go, Moi?
I think I came 4th, which was a bit of a surprise actually, because when Hammer crossed for his 3rd, I thought that might do me because I only had his bronze in the team, and I knew some people would have had his Origin card and probably some higher rarities. So I think I just got a few of the other picks right and that sort of thing. But yeah, 4th was a bit of a surprise. But Penrith coming for you, mate.
And what was your biggest selection headache for game 1? Penrith?
For game 1, geez.
Just let us know all this knowledge, man. Like, we're going to try and not copy your team tonight, but yeah, we've got someone to target.
I can't be the only one flipping coins every time. My biggest selection headache was whether to put Cobbo in or not, and I actually didn't, so I don't know how I won.
Oh, good stuff, man. Good stuff. But anyways, we will move on to, well, I've just done the whole introduction, and I would want to just ask, was there any regrets or anything that you'll do differently, knowing how the new coach at New South Wales is handling things at the moment with his new selections?
Look, I think I said on last match's show that I just wanted a game of 80 minutes with no injuries or, that sort of thing, so we could see how that really played out. But no one sort of probably would have thought that after 7 minutes there'd be a send-off. So we had a lot of questions left unanswered because of the use of the bench and the rotations being completely thrown out after Suoliti went off. So I don't think that got us any closer to answering some of those big questions. So I'll say it again, let's get through 80 minutes tonight without any major injuries or any send-offs this time. And then we might be better off knowing what Madge will do by game 3.
Yeah, I hope you're right, man. Let's just hopefully we have a full 13 per side for 80 minutes, and yeah, let's get to it. So yeah, I did have personally one regret that after our last show, I went away and thought about it a little bit, and I took McInnes out of my team and started Hopgood, which would have dropped me from 5th down to the 11th spot. So yeah, not the best decision. So I'm going to be sticking to my guns tonight. But moving on to the hookers, and I will start there as I'm the one that's playing the pod at this position. This is just coming down to Connor Watson on the bench for me. I don't know what his role at all is going to be, and it just makes me so nervous. We know what we can get out of Grant and the Hunt combination. And what I found with Robson last week when looking into the stats, he picked up 20 points through try saves and forced turnovers. You take that 20 points away, which Grant and Hunt also didn't. Hunt did get a couple of tries, and that was a good boost. But that's 20 points, and he would have only finished about 7 points ahead of Grant in game 1. So since it's an unknown with Watson on the bench, and there was only 7 points separating them without those two factors, which they can get every now and then. Who doesn't know Grant could get it this time around? But that's the main reason why I'm going with Grant, because I know how that rotation works more than Robson and Watson sitting there on the interchange.
Is it too late to change our selections? JT's just talked me into it. No, I was just chasing the minutes. I just thought Robson might get more minutes. It's only 2 in the position. Flip a coin. Robson worked first game. Thought I'd go there again. I think New South Wales might go better tonight. I just think they're more balanced, so he might pick up a few stats there.
Do you think Grant might get more minutes if they're defending a bit more, and that's why I think Hunt had a few more minutes last time around because the way the game was going?
Possibly. More minutes sometimes for Grant just means more missed tackles, though. So you got to pick your poison, especially at Origin level. I find him hard to pick off the bench.
Yes, cool. Still looking into those minutes though. Robson still played that full 80, and Watson is on the bench this match, but we got to remember Cameron Murray's coming in pretty underdone. What was he played? Probably 1 match in the last 6 or 8 weeks at club level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Watson come on in the middle and play more of a running role. But that's certainly the big query. Just on Grant, looking at his minutes over the previous 4 matches, he's not played over 57 minutes or 58 minutes. And last match we saw him only play 38. Like you said, that was a pretty comfortable win anyway. But it's just that minutes that I'm chasing as well as Penrith. And I think if Robson gets close to 80, he'll tackle in excess of 50 once again, and he'll probably just bank on that reliable score rather than all those negatives through Harry Grant's missed tackles.
Yeah, no, fair enough, boys. I'm going to stick to my guns tonight. It's a good pot, I reckon. But hopefully we haven't confused coaches even more with that one. But we have had a question that has come through. I'll put this one to you there, Moi Moi. What sort of salary? This is from Zach Hammond, by the way. What would you spend salary-wise on Latrell, or would you just play a bronze tonight?
Great question. Thanks, Zach. Hey, look. Latrell's such a game breaker, and the interesting thing with Latrell for this match is that he's playing out of position in GDS. He's playing in the centres during the match, but we've got to play him in the fullback spot. So normally in the fullback spot, you'd want to play your out and out fullbacks, but I think we're all going to play Latrell over maybe a Hammer. And in terms of rarity, look, I'm fortunate enough to win his Origin card last year, so I don't really have to make that decision. I'm just going to lock in that Origin card. But I think he's got so much upside. We'll probably talk about him a little bit later on. But if you're only playing a bronze, I think you might get left behind with some of those that take that risk on a higher rarity. But we'll see. What are you thinking, Penrith?
Yeah, if I had his Origin card, it would be in my team.
Yeah.
I've sort of gone a different way out of necessity, but yeah, if you got the cap to spend on him, there's much worse places you could spend it. He's going to be fired up, and he's marking up on the turnstile from North Queensland, so he's probably going to have a big night.
I agree. Yeah.
Right. We'll move on to our middle forwards here, and myself and Penrith have gone with exactly the same. So I'm going to throw this to Moi Moi, and can you give us a little bit of a reason why you've gone Watson in this case?
Yeah, I just love the upside that Watson brings. He's been on fire for the Roosters this year, and he's played all across the team. He's played at 13, he's played off the bench, he's played in the halves. And in all that time he's played, he's actually not made an error at all, which is, quite unreal. So he's at the top of his game. He's been picked for a reason. He would have been picked in game 1 if he was available. And I think New South Wales will be silly not to use him for as long as possible. I said earlier that Cameron Murray's probably coming in underdone. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Watson come on pretty early and just run. I think he brings more upside than someone like a Yo. And while he might get maybe 10 or 15 less minutes, he can probably make up those points pretty easily with a couple of tackle busts. And we know he can easily score or put someone else through a gap and that sort of thing. So it's just probably an upside pick. We saw what Yo did last week. He in 3 weeks ago. He wasn't amazing. He made his tackles, but he's not going to kill you if you don't have him in your team, I think.
So where do you see Yo and Watson playing if they're both on the field at the same time?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like Yo's just being used as that out-and-out forward off the bench now. He's probably not playing that link-up role that he does at Penrith a lot, but, the man that supports that club might be able to tell us something different. But I feel like his game in Origin is a little bit more straightforward. He doesn't have to do all of that ball playing and linking up with the halves like he does in Clubland. So I think they're just using him as an out-and-out middle where he'll get through plenty of runs, plenty of tackles. But what did he play last game? 48 minutes? Still not a lot of upside that he can get in that amount of time.
Fair. What do you reckon, Peter?
Yeah, I think I've just sort of laid up in the forwards. It was a bit of a decision between Murray and Watson for me. I would have loved to have snuck Watson in there. If Yeo was starting and Murray was on the bench, I'd probably go Watson over Murray. Especially just, I suppose, the intensity of the game and his history of HIAs. I think he's not a bad one to take on. Couldn't leave Yeo out, though. I thought about it last time, and he just, whether he gets 40, you see it when he backs up from Origin for the Panthers and plays reduced minutes. He's vanilla ice cream. He just pumps out his 60 or 55 every week, whether he plays 40 minutes, 70 minutes, 80, 90. He's just going to put runs on the board for you, so he's hard to leave out with a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat as you, obviously going with the same mid forwards, and I back you with the Yeo one. He doesn't need as many minutes as other mid forwards. It's great seeing him play the 80, but he's never going to do that at this level. He's just going to be sitting there in the middle, making tackle after tackle and clocking up those points just like a Haas and a Carrigan, in my opinion. But I do really like the Watson pod, and if I was to swap anyone out, it would probably be Murray from my point of view. I still remember back, I think it was game 3 years ago, first tackle, second tackle of the game, lights out, and that was it for Murray. So that is always a concern. We don't like to bank on those sort of things at all, but it can be put into consideration. We will move on to another question. I know we're not up to the fullbacks and centres at the moment, but we do have a question from Marcus. It's difficult to pick centres when their fullbacks are playing centre positions. I only have Val. What sort of tips can you give this coach?
Yeah, I think if you're playing a player down, you obviously got to look at the pods. If you can only fill one centre spot, you might need to, take on a Reece Walsh and leave him out completely. He's obviously going to be targeted again. He's fresh off a pretty heavy concussion. Leaving Cam Murray out. Maybe you play both hookers. Look, the centres aren't going to score that well. If you're one down, it's not the end of the world, but you might need to find a few points elsewhere, just going a little bit differently. That'd be what I would do. Take a few more haymakers.
Yeah, I think that's excellent advice. That's exactly what I would have said as well.
Yep, no, make that 3 out of 3 there. Right, moving on to the edge forwards. So we have all gone slightly different here. One's gone all blues, and myself and Penrith have gone for blues and maroons. So I'll throw this one to Penrith. Why have we gone sour for tonight?
I just think, look, I found this position probably the toughest. Again, kind of same as hooker, minutes and just, I think, workload. I think Silver's going to be busy. I think he's going to have to probably take on a bit of work in attack as well. And, out that side, sort of protecting Did. And, I just think probably looking at base stats with your back rowers. I actually had Sewer and Nanai until Nanai got the calf strain. How bad it is, I don't know, but it was enough to sort of put me off him. And Gussie on that New South Wales left edge, he might pick up a few attacking stats. So, this was just a pure sort of throw at the dartboard, this one for me. Found it really tough to sort of split the hairs. Yep.
I'm in the same boat. I'm still got questions over my selection at the moment, but I'm sticking with them for now. But, the reason why I've gone Nanai is he didn't seem to do too much wrong in game 1. He played the full 80 minutes. He scored well. He scored, what was it? Was it 40 points? No, it was Silver that got the 40 points. He got 34 points. So it wasn't all that great. It wasn't too terribly. But when you look at the likes of Martin, who Man, that was a great tackle he put on. Who did he iron out again? Hopgood, that's right. But that's a great origin moment. But from a GDS point of view, it only made him 15 points the whole night. So, yes, he can go the 80. And I'm still not too sure on the interchange and how that's all going to work for New South Wales, especially with Hamoli sitting there from my point of view. So, Nanai, his calf strain is a concern. I may change before kickoff, but I just like the upside that he is probably the more likely to score a try out of any of them. He's the hottest try scorer out of these players at NRL level. Crichton, yeah, we all got him in a side, but he's a set and forget in my opinion. But of these pods, I think he's more likely to give that any more attacking upside than the other two. But yes, so it's a coin flip between those two for me. But I'll move to Moimoy. What have you got? Why do you like Martin for tonight?
Yeah, when putting this team together yesterday, Martin was in the side for a few reasons, but I'll let you both know it's probably not going to run out with Martin in the team. So thanks for your insight on Sewer and Nano boys. I'll probably pick between one of them. But look, I had Martin in for a couple of reasons. I think New South Wales have picked a team really specific to their game plan, and Martin plays a big role in that. That game plan didn't really come to fruition in game one due to that send-off early. So Martin lost a lot of points through missed tackles. I think he made, was it 7 or 9? And that's a massive amount of points that he loses through those missed tackles. And a lot of them are through fatigue and, falling off players because of the extra man and the overlap. So I feel like Martin would have been a nice pod, particularly due to his low score and probably a lot of coaches leaving him out. I can see him playing off Moses really well, hitting that line and causing a lot of trouble on that left side of the field for Queensland. He did play 74 minutes last match, and he moved into the middle a bit, I think, when Haumole came on. So Madge obviously trusts him, and he's got a real game plan for him with that aggression that he brings. So if New South Wales can get any sort of momentum or roll on, I think Martin will really thrive off that. Game one just didn't really suit his style of football. So that was the main reason I looked at playing him. But yeah, that is scary with the bench, and I've already made a risk or two with Murray and Watson and that sort of thing. So I don't know if I can make another based on the Blues forward pack.
No, fair enough, man. I will just move to another question. It is from our very own Cal himself. I don't know if he's just having a laugh or not, but we'll go with it anyway. Is not playing someone like Haas or Carrigan a smart move as a pod, or is that just plain dumb? What do you guys reckon?
Well, if you had asked that question last week about Reece Walsh, we would have laughed at you and said, no, you've got to play him. But look what happened after 7 minutes. Look, I think you've got to play both of them. They both prove at club level week in, week out that they can go the full distance, and they just work and love that work. And if you want if you want to bank any sort of solid amount of points through your middles, those are the first two guys you look at playing. So, yeah, I think pretty dumb there, Cal. But look, injuries can happen. HIAs can happen, like you alluded to. JT Murray suffered that one early a few years back. Those things can happen. But look, if they get through a match like they're supposed to, that 50 or 60 points as a bronze is just so safe, and you'd be silly to ignore it.
No, I totally agree.
The advice to the general public is to probably play those two. The advice to Cal is avoid.
No, I love it. If you're after a pod, in my opinion, it's for tonight. You probably should be either looking at the centre, winger, fullback, or edge positions, I think, and even hooker to a certain extent. But middle forward is, pretty much locked and loaded, other than a couple of questions around the likes of a Watson versus Murray combination in there. But yeah, for those two, I'll be playing them all day if I do have those cards.
Can we go back and screenshot that at some point? We can put that on Discord as worst takes on Origin or something.
Yeah, no, I do like that. Yeah, that's a great shout.
Or does he know something we don't?
Nah, yeah, the teammates might get in a biff and both go to the bin. Yeah. Who knows?
I was going to say he is based up in Brisbane. Maybe he's heard something through the grapevine up there. Who knows? But moving on to the halves, there's a few questions earlier, but we have all gone with the same halves. The only really other two alternatives are Dead and Hunt. So we'll just talk about those two for a moment and why they haven't made each other's squads. So Penrith, why have you decided to leave both those players out and go with these three?
Yeah, well, I think, in an unpredictable environment like Origin, I think the half backs are going to get targeted in defence. I think, Cherry Evans, more so than Moses, they're going to make more than they're going to miss, and just kick meters. Luai went as a bit of a pod, but in a survey, 3 of 3 people thought Luai was a good choice. So, yeah, maybe not as much of a pod as I thought. I just think, Luai inside Trell. To be honest, if I had an Origin Luai, he probably would have got some loading tonight. I'm a devout Queenslander, but I'm very worried about New South Wales left edge tonight, and particularly matching up on our right edge. I really hope they swap Val and Hammer. I hope Hammer marks up on Trell, but we'll, trust Billy's got a plan. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hope they just stay as they are from a Blues fan point of view. But we do have a real relevant question for this position coming in from CFAM. So I'll throw this one to you, Moi Moi. Can you give your halves a ranking for tonight? I want to know where you are playing all of your salary.
Yeah, for sure. I think number one half will be Daly Cherry Evans. He was just dominant game one, and he always is without Cameron Munster on the field with him. I think he made 31 tackles and only missed 2 or 3 and got above 400 kicking meters. So he'd be my number one. He'll take control of that Maroons football, and a score over 50 again wouldn't surprise. A lot of the attack will go through him. But then that's why I've picked Moses and Luai at second and third, because I think the Blues might have an attacking advantage here, particularly down that left side that Penrith alluded to. That combination of Crichton and then Trell and then To'o is just going to be unreal. And Luai will probably cash in. I do have his Origin card, so that probably makes it a bit easier to play him. I might have had to flip a coin or two if I didn't own that card. But I still see him performing really well. I think he's still got around 40 points last match, and that was with 7 missed tackles, and he didn't do a lot. But now with that edge that's going to be so dominant and the ball going down his channel the whole night, I can see Luai cashing in and probably performing quite well.
Couldn't agree more with that. And Moses without his kicking duties by the sound of it as well. It sounds like Lomax will be taking over goal kicking tonight from what I've heard. So that's the reason why I have exactly the same order, even though DCE doesn't kick. I just think without Munster, as you say, and Moses without the goal kicking, I think DCE will be the top scoring half tonight, in my opinion, as well. What about you there, Penrith?
Yeah, I actually think Luai. If you have a look at his body of work, I'm about to let out best kept secret here. He's been low-key flying with his GDS scoring the last sort of 4 to 6 rounds for the Panthers, playing as the dominant half. He's the incumbent. Moses is coming in. Obviously, Moses normally plays as the dominant half for the Eels, but given Crichton can play either side of the field, and I feel Trell can as well, I think it's interesting they've put him over outside Luai. And I just think that's going to be an area they're going to target tonight. I think he's going to pick up some attacking stats. I think he's going to get some good kick meters, because I think when they're not bombing out to Crichton and Lomax, I think they're going to be dribbling it in behind Coates, because he's got the turning circle of a P&O cruise liner. So I think he's going to get a lot more kick meters. I think he's going to get a lot more attacking stats. I just think he's going to be – I think he's starting to show what the Tigers are looking for next year, which is – I don't like hearing that out of my mouth. But I think Luai, I think Daly will do the job. I think Moses is the one you can take a punt on, in my personal opinion, which is probably a bit of a pod, because I'd say most people would have Moses almost first man in. But if you're going to go away from that, I reckon you could take him on. And just to answer that question, my cap was sort of put where my Origin cards lay, but any spare cap, I tried to load the forwards. But yeah, I think if I was having a punt, a bit of loading on Luai would be where I'd look.
Yeah, that's making me question my team now. Well, my loading. I've got a Luai Origin sitting not even in my team at the moment.
I'll trade you a bronze Minto.
Keep him there, JT.
Yeah, we'll keep talking. Right. Does anyone want to add anything else onto the halves, like either excluding Dearden and Hunt, or just don't see much upside from either of them tonight?
I went Hunt last game, and he had a massive game and really paid off when we game one. But ironically, his stats kind of put me off him this game. Probably less minutes than I was thinking, less base stats than I was thinking. I don't see him scoring 2 tries tonight, but I'd be happy if he did. But yeah, it just probably not enough outside of those 2 tries, which was a large chunk of his points. Probably didn't do enough in base stats for me to keep him on.
Yeah, you can score 2 tries any day he wants, but not in Maroon's jersey, in my opinion. Right. Anyways, boys, we will move on to the centres. So I will start this one. This is almost a set and forget for me. It is still a question mark, but the Latrell factor does concern me a lot with having Holmes there. And I'm sure that's the reason why neither of you have him, Val Holmes, in your team at this stage. I just think he's been there. How many years now has he been in Origin? He's 6, 7 years after. Well, even prior to his NFL short career, he scores tries regularly. That's mostly was on the wing, but he's also the goal kicker for Queensland. I am sure the New South Wales defence is going to be a lot better tonight if they have 13 on the field. So there's not as much upside in that respect. I've just gone there for experience, as I think Crichton seems to play more of a defensive role, what I've seen in recent times. And Holmes has outscored him, I think, in all but one of the games that they've played in against each other. So that's my reasoning behind having Holmes. I just think being goal kicker, you never know when he's going to cross a try. He's one of the best try scorers they do have when he does play on the wing. Who knows? There may be a shuffle at some stage. You never know what might happen, as we found out in game one. So if things were to change, he would be probably put onto the wing. They might see a second row put into centre, and all of a sudden he's a weapon out wide. So yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a pod at my end, just because of the Latrell factor for New South Wales. But that's where I'm going tonight. And why are you guys going Crichton over Holmes? Is it basically the reverse of what I've just said for Holmes?
For me, it's probably more of just a gut feel, expecting New South Wales to probably play and therefore score maybe a little bit better than Queensland on this occasion. And like you've said a few times already, it's that Latrell factor. Val's now got the toughest assignment in the game, and that's up against Latrell Mitchell. And Val's hands have let him down all season long. I think he made 3 errors. He missed 3 tackles last match, and that was when the Maroons, had a man up, and therefore you would have thought that they probably would have had used the ball a bit better and probably been easier to defend against that one less man. So we'll talk about the expectation of Mitchell a little bit later on, but we'll probably all back him in for a big game, and to have a big game, he's got to have to run past Val and probably over the top of him. And as a Queenslander, like if Val scores 2 tries and kicks 6 goals and the Maroons win by 24, then I'll be celebrating either way. So it's more of a gut feel and maybe a bet hedge here. Penrith, what are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I just think Holmes is a bit of a flat track bully. I just don't see the track being that flat tonight. I think, I'm probably, when I looked at this, Lomax was straight in there. He's probably going to run for 200 plus metres.
Yeah.
If they're bombing to his wing, he might pick up a few errors, just contesting attacking bombs, but he might pick up a try or 2 as well. So he was sort of first in. And then, out of Holmes and Crichton tonight, I was probably splitting between whether I wanted 25 or 30 points. So I don't really see any of them setting the world alight. But if Crichton picks up a try, he might sneak up towards a base of 50, and Holmes could miss 10 tackles tonight and leave you with a negative. He really needs a team that's on a roll to score, I find.
Yeah. I'm just looking into their comparative stats from game one a little bit more now. I'm really, really nervous. Holmes scored 21 points of his 45 through goal kicks. So that leaves 24 points versus 32 for Crichton for game one. So that's where we are with that one. And on the missed tackle count, it wasn't against Latrell, but Holmes did miss 3 and Crichton did miss 2. So just a couple of tackles each, but Holmes still missed more without Latrell matching up against him. So yeah, you guys might be on a winner tonight. So yeah, I might have to check out the trade market after this call and see what I can do.
Actually, one thing, going back to Luai as well, I think he scored okay in game one, maybe high 30s, but he missed like 9 tackles. And if you sort of rewatch the game, once Crichton went to the opposite edge, he was playing on the edge with the disadvantage, and they went there all night, and he was shooting out of the line, and he was sort of missing tackles, forcing him inside. So I don't know if there's such thing as good missed tackles, but out of those 9, most of them were that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's racking up 9 missed tackles tonight. So
no, negative 27 points. Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now.
Yeah, so take that out of his game. He actually scored exceptionally well game one. I just think he might have more upside as well.
Yeah, even if he just missed a standard 3 or 4, it would have been 50-point night really for him. So yeah, no, really good point there, mate. Right, we will move on to the wingers, and we are all looking the same here. Last time round, I did go for Coates. It did end up being the right decision on the night just for how it unfolded. No, that wasn't in the right edge, was it? Coates plays on the right edge, doesn't he? So it was more the Taulagi side that benefited there. He did make 7 tackle breaks, I believe. So that was the main difference between Taulagi and Coates. Why are we all going Taulagi tonight? Just better base, you reckon?
Well, after all the chat on the GDS Discord about 45 minutes ago or an hour ago about there being no Coates available, I think I might change my Taulagi to Coates, seeing as though that might be a bit of a pod play. It's, again, probably a toss-up between 20 and 25 points. But what I did like about Coates last match was his, I think he ran 8 more times than Taulagi. So when you've got the ball in your hand 8 more times, you're probably bound to break more tackles and get more meters. But yeah, there's not going to be a lot of difference between the two. But in terms of pod play, I think I'm going to swap that out for a Coates if I can't swap him for a Reece Walsh diamond, like I threw out there on the Discord chat.
Yeah, I've got a trade to get to. One of the coaches messaged me earlier, just got dad duties and haven't forgotten about it, but just need to get back onto it and sort it out after this call. So yeah, don't worry, mate. I'll be thinking about that silver coach you're after, and we'll sort something out after. But where do you stand on this, Penrith?
Sure, he's already been updated.
How good's that?
Oh, look, you watch blokes like, you watch the good premier wingers in the comp, and they make the game look so easy. And no one makes the game look harder than Xavier Coates. And I just can't. Like, I know he's a good player and he scores a lot of tries, but I just can't get excited watching him. And I think anyone playing outside the hammer is probably more likely to have a good time. So, yeah, again, flip a coin, see how you go. To'o's in there. He's going to make 200 metres. But, again, Moses being the dominant kicker, I think any time they're not in attacking position, I can just see more kicks going down Murray's side. Might get some more runs, might get some more metres, maybe slightly more chance of a try. Yeah, that'd be a good place to take it on. There's 3 options. Everyone's going to have To'o. Maybe Coates and Taulagi is the right option. I think that's a place you can play around with it and you can't really make a wrong decision. It's just going to be a bit of luck involved too.
Do you own his bronze card, mate?
Xavier Coates?
Yeah.
No, I don't. It was before game one. I was I was wondering if he was the Flanders of the NRL, but somebody actually produced a screenshot on the Discord before game 1, so that's the only time I've ever seen it. But I don't know, maybe he's into visual arts.
Yeah, no, I've definitely got one. I whacked it on there, about an hour ago and threw the feelers out for a trade.
Right, it's real. Okay.
Yeah, no, he exists. Yep, he's probably in my team now.
Straight out of the algorithm.
Trade's taken down. But Taulagi, as a coin flipper, Penrith is right. It's one of those positions you can play around with. Similar to centre to a certain extent, but I think this is a little bit less risky than centre. But I can see it going either way. But Taulagi have given us straight edge too for tonight. But moving on to fullbacks, we do have a little bit of pod, and that is in my team. It's just because Walsh has never lived up to Origin expectation yet. That is the main reason. Yes, this is even excluding game 1 when he only got 4.5 points. I'm just taking that right out of the calculation. But last year, I'm just having a quick look at his scores now. Where are we at? Sorry, boys. I did have it up in front of me. There we go. He scored 17 in game 1, 30 points in game 2, and he didn't play game 3. In those same games, Hammer scored 56 points, 47 points, 46 points. And in game 1 this year, he scored 80 points alone. Can he stop scoring tries? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm just going to go with Hammer tonight because he has proven in 4 games in a row that he can score tries. He is a handful for the New South Wales backline to deal with, and Walsh just hasn't lived up to any expectation at Origin level yet. And who knows if his confidence is going to be down slightly after that knock he took in game 1. I don't actually know, but I'm just going to go with an informed Origin play on this one. What do you boys reckon?
Yeah, well, Walsh has the lowest fantasy average out of any player in this series, doesn't he?
Yeah.
No, I tried so hard to leave Walsh out of this game. I think there'll be some errors. I think he'll be targeted. Don't want to wish it on anyone, but possibly a re-knock to the head. When you get to pick 7 players out of the possible 10, though, I either had to put in the Hammer, who's marking up on the best defensive centre, if not player in the game, or I had to put in Xavier Coates, and don't get me started there again. What was my other option? It was Grimm, Holmes, the turnstile. So Walsh is in on default. Should get those run meters, hopefully some attacking stats. Unfortunately, definitely some errors, but also he's the one that if you leave him out, he's going to burn you, isn't he? So
yeah,
he's in.
Yeah, no, that's one. This is probably my toughest pick all night for this game. It's Walsh is that sort of player that can turn around and get 70 points when you least expect it. But I honestly don't know if it's going to be Queensland's night or not. If it was at Suncorp, all day I'm probably playing Walsh. But down there in the MCG, I'm slightly optimistic about our chances tonight. A lot more so after taking that drumming in game 1 than even going into game 1. But hey, it's still going to be a 50-50 game at the end of the day. I just sort of like our chances a bit more, and I think that benefits probably Hammer, in my opinion, a little bit more because I just think there's going to be a little bit of room to go around that sort of down that edge. He's just so quick off the gap. Yes, Crichton is a fantastic defending centre. He made some excellent tackles in game 1, but they're going to be found short somewhere. Is it going to be on that inside channel? Like where the edge forward is, I don't know. Him getting around the outside. I'm just taking a chance really with a Hammer over Walsh on this one. And I'll put that on to you, Momoy.
Yeah, mate. All really good points about that. I think for me, it just boiled down to the fact that Reece Walsh is playing fullback and Hammer is a centre. So Reece Walsh is more likely to get the ball in his hands a little bit more often. He'll pop up on both sides of the field, and their speed is probably very similar. So Hammer and Walsh can make a break as easily as Hammer can as well. So I just see the fact that Walsh will get his hands on the ball more often, and there's a little bit more maybe attacking upside there. I hadn't really even thought about playing Hammer, but all of this chat about him, I think he'll be a great pod for those that do wish to play him. And I just seen a comment come through here on the comment feed from Dylan. Hope you're enjoying your time in Perisher, mate. Hope the snow's been good and you're enjoying your time on the slopes. But Dylan's asked about Hammer Origin card versus an Edwards Gold card. Look, if you've got an extra spot for an Origin card, mate, I'd definitely play him. It'd probably depend if you've already got 5 in your team who you'd take out. But playing that Hammer pod, as JT has alluded to, is probably going to pay off in the long run. I probably wouldn't do it at the expense of Edwards, though. I think Walsh, is probably the better guy to leave out. So if you can swing a few things and keep Edwards and still play that Hammer Origin card, you might be onto something, mate. But a little bit of fence sitting there. I've got a few splinters, but I guess we'll see it about 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah. Actually, while we're talking about the time, has anyone seen if there's any late changes to this? Because I actually haven't had a quick look. No changes yet by the sound of it.
Hopefully Scott Drinkwater's in. I got 3 of those Origin cards.
Well, if that was the case, who would you be taking out?
Oh, all 3 fullbacks. 3 Scott Drinkwaters.
Right. As we're getting closer to kickoff, we'll move along. It is question time. So I will just find where we are with that. Here we go. So I'll throw this one to you first, Moy. What player haven't you picked tonight that you're most afraid of, like throwing you under the bus, basically?
Yeah, good question. Maybe it's Hammer after that fullback chat. I think you've got to play Edwards. It might be Hammer that I'm most scared of now, but it's probably going to be Isaiah Yeo in the middle. If Connor Watson only gets his 25 or 30 minutes and Yeo beats him by 20 or 30 points, I'll be kicking myself. So it's probably one of those two.
Yeah, fair enough. What about you, Penrith?
Look, I see it to be a very low-scoring game tonight. Something in the realm of sort of 14-10. When I was looking at game 1, I just thought Queensland had so many points and so many mismatches, and the worst thing that ever happened to Queensland was Suaalii getting sent off because we lost that free pass down the left edge. Now Crichton's out there, so I think maybe it might be a smoky like Harry Grant, because I think if Queensland are going to get up tonight, it might come through the middle and when the forwards are a bit tighter in a close game. So, he might break the stats system and actually get a try assist or 2.
Good shout. Before I move on to the next one, I'll just throw it out to the audience to see if there's any more questions coming in from you guys before we finish up. But I'll keep it on you there, Penrith. Does the MCG and its neutral crowd impact any of your selections tonight?
MCG and its Queensland crowd, did you say?
If that's what you heard.
Oh, look, Queensland love a narrative, so give them one to have a live game at home, eh? So, yeah. Look, I don't think the crowd's going to play into it. New South Wales are down 1-0. They've got to come to Queensland. If they don't find anything now, we're going to see full-scale changes. So they're probably fighting for their Origin careers as much as anything. And I think maybe I think we could have picked a slightly better team in some areas. I would have loved to see Cobbo there. I think Cobbo would have been the point of difference we need, and I just don't know if we have enough points with the team they've picked. So I don't know if the crowd will play into it, but New South Wales are desperate, and unless they fall in a heap, I think they'll grind it out. As much as it pains me to say, so hopefully I'll put the mocker on them.
Yeah, I'll just go into a few numbers that I did earlier this week. At the MCG, New South Wales won 4 and lost 1. And in the last 10 years, after losing game 1 and at a neutral venue, New South Wales have won all 3 games. So just something to think on about their boys going by the last 10 years in history. So, but I'll throw that to you, Moi Moi. What do you reckon about the game being the MCG and a neutral crowd?
Yeah,
has that changed any of your mind for any of the players that you've selected?
No, it hasn't changed my mind for any players that I've selected. I think, it will be a close game. I do think the Blues have the edge here, but the Queenslanders will get a chance to then regroup and come back home to Brisbane and get the job done in Game 3, and it just makes for an even greater spectacle. And when we can lift the shield up here, that just makes things even better. But the only thing I'd probably mention is if Jack White was playing in this game, I wouldn't pick him because he's probably more likely to kick the ball out on the full every time he puts boot to ball, playing on an AFL field. There's going to be a lot of space between the dead ball line and the sidelines and the crowd and that sort of thing. So that could affect some of the kickers. But DCE and Moses have some of the best kicking games in the comp. So I don't think they'll lose too many points with some poor kicks out in the full, but my boy Jack Whiten certainly would.
No, great call. We have had another couple of questions come through, so I'm going to throw this one to you, Penrith. Play Origin Walsh and a Bronze Luai, or play Hammer instead and play an Origin Luai. Which combo would you prefer in your team if you had to choose?
Yeah, I think the safe option is to play Origin Walsh. Where'd that question go? Yeah, I'd play Origin Walsh, and Bronze Luai is probably the safe option. But to be honest, I'm a bit, just reminder I'm wrong more often than I'm right. But I would actually be pretty bullish on, playing an Origin Luai and Hammer, especially like if you haven't got 5 key Origin cards. I think you're giving yourself a point of difference, and if that pays off, that'll give you a real edge on other coaches, I reckon. But if you want to lay up, go option A.
Yeah, no, both very good options, but I think option A is the safe option. What do you reckon, Moi?
Yeah, I agree.
And I'll answer this question. It is from J. Harry. Since I'm a Blues fan, who is the bigger grub, Munster or DCE? I've got to go for Munster in this one. It just looks so annoying on the field all the time. It just does me head. I'd love to have him on my team, but as a New South Wales fan, it's Munster for me. And I think that is going to be it. I'll just have a quick flip through the rest of the questions. No, I think that's it for tonight on the question front. So what I'll get you to do, more if you can.
There's one popped up on the screen, JT.
What is it? Sorry, I'm missing that.
We should have asked this at the start of this so you know whether to listen to me, because the answer is definitely not.
Are you not that confident, man? Are you leaving tonight's call with more questions than answers?
Oh, look, a broken clock's only right twice a day, so I don't think I can do 2 in a row.
You'll go close. Hope for a top 10. Might even sneak it first. You never know, mate. You never know. And before we move on to opening a pack, what are your guys' predictions for tonight? Score. What do you reckon? I know you mentioned you think it'll be close, something like 14-10 earlier, Penrith. Just any reason to? What's your main reason to why?
Yeah, I think Queensland's strengths is through our centres and through kind of our outside backs. But I think it really unlocks through the centres. And I just think Brighton on Hammer, Trell on Holmes, I think they've really nullified a lot of that. Walsh also tends to play really wide. I think if we had a fullback that was hunting up around the ruck, I'd see we'd have a lot more success there. And I just think they're going to have some answers out wide. So I'm seeing low scoring. I just think the Blues maybe have a few more points. 14-10 Blues is my pick. I'll be sitting at home screaming for 50-0 Queensland, though.
Yep, fair enough, man. I wouldn't expect anything more from you. What about you, Moi Moi?
Yeah, It'll definitely be a close one. I can see the Blues getting up, like I've alluded to a few times already tonight. I think there might be a field goal in this one. So something along the lines of 23-22. And that Mitch Moses redemption story might come to fruition here. And can he take the reins off Nathan Cleary for years to come if he can bring the Blues back from 1-0 down and take the decider up to Queensland? Who knows? So 23-22 to the Blues.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair score there, man. I'm going to go with the Blues as well. Not going to be I think it's going to be close as well. I think it's going to be 1 to 12 points. I am going to go 24-16 to New South Wales. So hoping for a decider. And if there is going to be one, will you boys be heading along to Suncorp for it?
Definitely in the realm of possibilities, mate. Yeah, love a good Origin game up there. The atmosphere is just unreal. So yeah, definitely a big possibility, I think.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it does go to game 3, and yeah, both of you can join. I'll be looking at see if I can scrape up some tickets, and I'll have to get last minute flights and come over.
Yeah, awesome.
Anyways, we will move on to the pack opening, Moi Moi. So I'll get you to do the honours there, man. Can you explain how it's going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. Is my pack opening on screen now? Yeah, looks like it is. All right, so I've got a unique New South Wales versus Queensland pack. And I guess we'll all cross our fingers and hope to see a State of Origin card in here, and I might be able to do a late swap into my lineup. So everyone cross their fingers and toes. Let's go.
Is this to be shared amongst the three of us? Is that what you're doing?
Can't hear you, mate. Sorry. All right. Oh, no, the dreaded processing. Come on.
They've just sold out.
Don't you love live TV? Probably because I've had it sitting there too long. I'll just give it a quick refresh. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the delay, but it's probably going to be worth it. Trust me. Zoom in a fraction here. All right. Here we go. Oh, beauty. Look at that pack opening.
Great animation there. Well, what do we got? Diamond.
Oh.
Oh. What have you got here?
Is it a shotgun system?
I'll get to that one. If you could guess who it is, I might let you keep it.
Have
a quick guess now.
Is this the first on the live show?
Sammy for it before you flip it.
What'd you say?
I said I'll trade your legend Philip Sammy for it before you flip it. Or Kenny Bromwich.
Mate, you've got about 12 legends. I've got one in my squad.
Go young gun coming through. Liam Henry.
All right, I'll open some of these first. I've got a Cam McInnes, Hutchinson, Fafita, Tallis Duncan, Harry Grant Platinum. No Origin cards yet. Dylan Walker, Toff Sipley. Got a diamond here. Jaden Sullivan. But the big boy. The one we've all been waiting for. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Green hands.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh,
killing me.
It's so good to see one opened on live.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, it's not terrible, but
hey, how about I race through another one? What do you reckon? I've still got one more sitting there. I'll do this one a bit quicker. Oh, here we go.
Oh, an Origin one too. Nice. Diamond.
All right, beautiful. We'll get to that Origin one.
Sneaky Luai.
What do we got there?
Okay, we got a diamond. And that's what we wanted to see.
What do we got?
Queensland versus New South Wales. Okay. All right.
Ooh,
I'm sure there'd be a few people that would want to play an Origin sewer in their squads. What number is that? Let's have a look. It's not
couple of nice packs there, man.
Yeah, there you go. I might have to open a few more live on stream because, yeah, I have no pack luck otherwise.
Geez, 2 packs of Legend and an Origin. That's going all right.
So get those Queensland versus New South Wales packs, everyone.
Well,
Maybe,
we will wrap it
people
up
could pay you to
there.
open them for them.
We'll wrap it up there, guys. We've got half hour, 40 minutes till kickoff, and all the best for your teams tonight, boys. It's been great catching up and talking a bit of New South Wales, Queensland competition. So for those guys that have just joined into the chat, seeing what it's all about, if you don't play Game Day Squad already, it is free to play, free to enter. Go and download the app today and get involved. There's a great community we have on Discord as well. We can trade cards, whatever it is. It's, yeah, just a great bit of fun. So if you're not on it, guys, get involved and we'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks for having me,